Following the rising number of displaced victims of armed conflict and violence in Nigeria, journalists and media practitioners across the Northwest State have been trained on conflict and humanitarian reporting by the International Committee of the Red Cross ICRC in Kano State. The two-day humanitarian reporting workshop aimed to develop the reporting skills of journalists in identifying challenges and emergencies bedeviling vulnerable people and victims of armed conflict and violence, domestic and social injustice, as well as those affected by natural and scientific disasters. Certificates were presented to the participant as the workshop ended with a positive result. However, Mr. Robin Wudo, the communication officer of the ICRC, noted that
we're working mostly in the northeast of the country, Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. But we also have operations. We are working in places like Jos, Port Harcourt. We are today here in Kano. We've been working to assist people who are affected by conflict, armed conflict, where mostly you have armed actors that are fighting with the government authorities and causing thousands of people to be displaced, meaning these people do not have access to basics, say food, water, medical, shelter. And we've seen that there are also some needs in the northwest of the country. And what we are doing right now is trying to understand exactly what's going on there. We work in armed conflict, which is exactly what is happening in the northeast. In the other parts of the country where there is violence, like between the farmers and the herders, we're also assisting people who are affected. But we understand there are also people affected in other parts of the country, and the Northwest is an area we are looking into right now.
While addressing journalists after the workshop, Dr. Bala Mohammed charges journalists reporting conflict to invest in reporting the plight of victims instead of the criminals.
The story should be from the victim's perspective. We have tried as much as we have done that the culprit, the bandit, the criminal, the perpetrator, the wicked person has been the center of news, all we know. But we are trying to tell our students, to tell journalists, to tell reporters that the victim is also newsworthy. The victim should also be considered news material. We need names, we need stories, we need the family behind the mayhem. If the bus in Sokoto, which was set on fire and 40 people were burned to death, for no reason and for no fault of theirs. We want journalists to go to that village, to get the names of those people, to get the families of those people, to say to the world, these are the people mourning the loss of those 40, not the criminal who has killed them. That criminal deserves to die. That criminal deserves punishment. But the victims deserve our sympathy, our compensation, our help.
Some of the participants also noted that
we have learned a lot, especially when it comes to humanitarian reporting. And this is the first time that I have achieved a lot in terms of this humanitarian reporting, because we have gained from the facilitators, from the resource persons that they have invited. And then we have takeaways a lot. When we go back home, I know that we are going to train, teach others. And I know that the workshop, it was engaging, it was participatory, it was interactive. And everybody was happy that, yes, we have acquired innovations, things that we are going to put in terms of practice when we go back home.
For now, perhaps a reportage about humanitarian armed crisis have not been given the focus on the effect of these people. That's the humanitarian angle. But from this workshop, we've come to learn that journalists should focus more on the effect rather than the cause, because the victims are the ones who should be given more priority. So with the help of this workshop, I've been able to know that, and I intend to, in my future reportage, I intend to imbibe all of these things and put it together in my reportage.